Oh, no, you're not going to wait. Although I love you for it. We're doing this thing tonight, and I'm not letting some little cough get in my way. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Here we go. I love you, and you know what? I'm going to shake it for healing tonight. So you're damn well better believe I'm going to be here. There isn't a cough or a cold or anything that's going to keep me from being here tonight. Hi. I don't sound great, but I'm feeling better. Everybody's like, Mom's here. Get it together, kids. Hello, and welcome to Sabbatical. I have had a cold. I have a mild case of bronchitis, but I am here with you, and we are powering through. And I believe that ritual is healing. So if we're ever doing ritual and you're not feeling good, what I'm going to tell you is do it anyway, because raising energy is powerful. And so I've been doing this work online like this with you for 7 years, and I don't think I've ever missed a major event. I haven't missed a full moon. I haven't missed a new moon, and I haven't felt good some of the time. But you have to know that ritual is healing. And so from my perspective, being sick is not a reason to miss ritual. Being sick is even a stronger reason to show up. But I'm glad that we're not here in person, because I'm still contagious. I still have a fever, but I think I'm going to feel much better after we do our work together tonight. So got my notes. We are heading to China tonight, and tonight's ritual is very important. And what's really fun about tonight, are you ready? Part of the reason I'm so super duper excited to see you tonight is we get to talk about shamanism. We don't talk a lot about shamanism, but we should, because a good chunk of the work that we do, don't you think, is shamanic. And we can talk tonight. I want to talk about what shamanism is. I want to talk to you about the Wu shaman. You know, the shaman of China and Mongolia are the original shaman. And I have a very interesting story to tell you that I think you're really going to enjoy. It's sort of a random story of how I happen to know a woman whose mother is a Mongolian shaman. And so I have fun stories from her to share with you. They are the OGs, my friend. Anybody who thinks that the Peruvian shaman are the OGs, anybody who thinks that, you know, anyone from Central America or South America is the original shaman, I would urge them to reconsider. Because what we know is that the original shaman came from the Far East. And I'm gonna give you my theory tonight about why that is, and it's actually related to Atlantis and Lemuria. So if you're a fan of, you know, the ancient histories, I think you're gonna find tonight really, really interesting. Aw, Paulette's got a little baby kitty. OG is like a slang term for original gangster, right? So it's OG represents or means like who was the original person. Like, it's funny, but Sage Goddess is kind of the OG of selling crystals online. We were one of the first. Our Etsy shop was the first to go into the top 10 worldwide for metaphysical. So we're kind of the OGs of online crystal shopping, which is really funny when you think about the fact that pretty much everybody and their mom now has an Etsy shop selling crystals. It's kind of fun for me because I get to watch that unfold and think about the early days. And it's probably the same way when people look at shamanism today and think about what the early forms were, and how we think about shamanism as belonging to a particular country, or we think about shamanism as belonging to a particular tradition. But and it does to a certain extent, but it's not anchored where we think it is. And then I want to talk about what shamanism is. I'm going to give you my perspective on it. And we're going to talk about ecstatic magic tonight. And that's not something that we've ever talked about before. I think it's really important that we talk about it in Sabbatical, because ecstatic magic is what has scared the shit out of people for thousands of years. You know, when shaman go into a trance state, and I've gone into trance before, I know some of you have gone into trance before too, it can be ecstatic. You know, traditional shamanic experiences are not quiet where you sit there and you receive and you download and you discern. It is up out of your seat, you're moving, it's the drumbeat, it's your body responding. And so we're going to get into that tonight. I'm going to shake what my mama gave me tonight a little bit with you, and I hope that will inspire you to shake what your mama gave you. Ecstatic magic is really amazing stuff. If you allow yourself to let go when you're doing ritual work, meaning full body, you're just surrendering to the moment. You don't care who's watching. You don't care what people think. You are just full body in the moment. Some pretty powerful stuff can happen. You have to let go. You have to let go. And too often, even when I go to really powerful ceremonies in different parts of the country now, when I work with shaman now, I go into experiences these days and I'm all open, I'm all game, right? You want me to dance, I'm gonna dance. You want me to take my clothes off, I'm gonna take my clothes off. Like whatever's happening in Rome, I'm gonna do that. But there are still people who are like, well, I don't know, and I don't want to do that, or I don't know what people will think. So part of me says, don't really begin the deeper magic of your journey until you're at the point where you're like, you know what? I'm here for the magic, and whatever that requires is what I'm going to do. I'm not worried about what people think or who's looking at what, right? But I think you have to get to a certain point in your life, whether it's age or experience or just kind of getting over yourself and your ego a little bit. And I'm beyond self and ego at this point. So I kind of don't care. And I'm excited. I mean, I care, but I'm not worried about judgment. So I'm able to fully surrender in a moment and just receive whatever's coming through. And so I hope that that's exciting for you too. I'm not going to take my clothes off tonight for you. Can you imagine the feedback maybe that people would say, well, I loved Sage Goddess in her online classes until she started taking all her clothes off, and then it got weird. Somebody would. So anyway, I'm going to leave my clothes on, but there could be a point down the road where there's some ecstatic magic happening and I'm not responsible for what that will look like. And Norma, I know, will join me. Listen, you got to go with the flow. But that's why when people say, oh, should I go to the Amazon? Should I go on this retreat? And I'm always thinking to myself, how conservative are you? Because if you're super conservative, and then I also look at people who, they're worried about their makeup and they're worried about their hair and they're worried about all the things. And I'm thinking, how are you going to go to the Amazon, unplug for 7 days, eat whatever they give you to eat, do whatever they tell you to do, be naked in front of people you've never met, dance around a fire, right? Potentially vomit in front of people. These ecstatic things bring up all kinds of physiological. So, tonight's kind of a fun opportunity for you to stop in a safe space and think to yourself, am I there yet? Am I there where I'm so ready to surrender to the flow and the energy and the work and whatever spirit wants to push through me or allow to come through me, that I kind of don't care anymore. You know what I mean? I will do what the shaman says. I will go with the energy that, is there in the moment. And if you're not there yet, that's good to know too. It's just sort of like you have to work at your own pace and not be judgmental about yourself, but recognize that sometimes the really heavy work requires that you let go and surrender a lot of your expectations and your assumptions about what magic looks like, which I think can be very fun. Okay. Who knows? Maybe we'll get naked at the retreat in October. I don't think that'll happen either, but there could be a place and a time. And I'm glad we're talking about it. Delana's not taking off my clothes. Okay, so let's talk about China. It's funny because if you ask most people what they think about magic in ancient China, they won't tell you that they think that's really the birthplace. But in so many ways, the shamanic work is really work with what we call helping spirits. And the ancient Chinese were the first to really see their ancestors as helping spirits. I'm going to dive right into the content, but I'm still reading your comments in the feed. I'm going to smudge while I dive right in, by the way. I want to maximize my voice for as long as we have. Yeah, we're having a retreat here at Sage Goddess in Los Angeles in October, just for you guys. And so if you don't know about that, Team SG, if you could, I actually haven't seen a lot of reminders in the group either. So let's be sure to be posting reminders about the retreat and our plans, because we are hosting you in October around Samhain, as we've been talking about doing for years. And it's a free retreat. I'm not charging for it. So all you have to do is find your way here. And we've got some fun stuff planned for you. I may even be doing Reiki attunements. We've been talking about that too. So if anybody is not Reiki attuned, I may be offering that too while you're here. People have been asking for a long time. So there are tickets, but we haven't talked about it yet. So anyway, Team SG will keep you updated on all of that, but because the space is very limited. And so if you are interested and you want to know more, we will talk more about that. I know, right? It's going to be really, really fun. Well, my plan is to, we'll talk more about Reiki later because there's lots coming ahead with SG and Reiki, especially in 2019. So hold that thought. Okay, so when we think about shamanism, what we're talking about is working with what shaman call helping spirits, okay? And these are spirits that help us. And they take on many forms. Shaman tend to work with spirit animals in many cases. And shaman tend to journey into what are known as the 3 levels. So there's the lower realm, which is the primary realm of shaman, where you enter the earth usually through a tree portal. And in China, they call the tree that they enter the earth, they call it, I want to make sure I'm calling it the correct thing for you here. I wrote it down. I can't find it. I'll find it for you later. Yeah, I will find it for you later. So when you enter the lower realm, you usually enter through a tree. What's really interesting about the Wu shaman, the Chinese shaman, is that they used animal spirits to access the 3 realms. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using bird medicine. And to represent bird medicine, I'm using this awesome tool that some of you got with your kit. This is not a drum like this. I just want to make sure you guys know how to use this. This is a rattle. This is bird medicine. And so I'm going to be using this particular tool to access the upper realm. And they do that through the bird helping spirits. You can reconnect this, by the way. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. And you can always send it back to us if you have trouble. You can always reconnect it by sending fishing wire through the bottom and then reconnecting your fishing wire through here. It's pretty easy to fix this if for any reason it doesn't, it breaks on you. And then we're going to be using snake medicine. Snake is always rattle to enter the middle realm, which is a deeper state of consciousness of the present moment. You can use, for snake, you can use your little egg rattle. You can use any of your tools for any of them. And by the way, you can use one tool to access all levels. I'm going to be using 3 different tools because I want to work with you in a different way. I want you to palpably feel the difference between the 3 realms as we go. And then dragon medicine. So I'll be using my drum. For the lower realm. And so those are the helping spirits, the animal helping spirits that the Chinese Wu shaman worked with. Part of the reason why I love it as an add-on framework for my own shamanic work that I've been doing for a long time is that I love having 3 defined animal helping spirits, don't you? And so your kit has a candle for each one. And we're going to go in tonight. I'm so flippin' excited for this. I hope you guys are too. We're going to light each of our candles and we're going to seek the medicine of each of these animal helping spirits using a sound tool. The Chinese Wu shaman, yeah, Nathan's running for his drum. The Chinese Wu used sound. That was their primary tool. We're going to use crystals too. So if you got your kit, each one of the animal helping spirits has a crystal associated with it. So your dragon has beautiful fire agate, which you can see through. These pieces of fire agate were just gorgeous. For snake medicine, we're working with petrified wood, which is a great middle realm crystal. And then for bird medicine, we're using peacock ore, which activates all of the colors associated with the the upper realm. So if you don't have your tools, but they're coming, I would say still work with me. Get up, move it, shake it, have some fun with me tonight. We're calling in big energy. And I want you to set an intention right now. I don't know if you've noticed, but my spirit guides were on me a couple of weeks, months ago. And I mentioned it during one of our rituals that they were like, you've got to get back to intention. You have to remind people to go into every single thing they do with an intention. And I spend a lot of time watching other people's rituals on YouTube because I kind of like to know what's going on in our community. And I'm always surprised. You know, people do ritual, they don't set intentions, they don't call the 4 directions, they don't open a circle, they don't close a circle. Don't ever lose your good protocol. Do you know what I mean? And when you're watching a ritual online on YouTube, I know you guys are like me where you watch a lot of stuff too. Here's, because you're in sabbatical, which is like my deepest of all groups, I want to remind you, just because they don't do protocol doesn't mean you shouldn't do protocol. I've told you guys the story many times. I only made the mistake once in my magical life, and I was about 16, 17 years old. And I did a ritual without opening a container. And I'm a powerful person, just like a lot of you are. And I brought something into my house at the time, which is where my parents still live, that I have never been able to release. And my mom is a medium and a channel. She has tried to clear it and remove it. It's a safe entity, whatever it is, but I sure did bring it in. And so it really scares me when I see stuff on YouTube where people don't open a container and they're there doing ritual work with you. Ritual work is ritual work. It doesn't matter whether the person says they're a witch or a shaman or a priestess or whatever they oracle or seer, even if they just say, my name is Joe and I'm going to do a ritual with you today and let's just go. If you feel like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, you pause the video, you open sacred space, you smudge, you call the corners, you invite the guardians of the 4 gateways, and then you play that ritual. And then when they're done, you pause the ritual, you close the circle, you release the guardians of the gateways. You're not responsible for what that other person does, but you are responsible for what you do. So I hope that helps. I just feel like it's really important for me to constantly come in with a drumbeat. You got to set an intention. You've got to open a container. And even if nobody else does, you've been taught better. So you have to remember to do that. That's right. Follow your gut for sure. But I need your gut to lead you to opening a container, because what happens is people come to me later and say, can you clear this for me? Can you release this for me? What can you do? And it's like, what I could have done is teach you better at the beginning. Now you've got something in your lap that you don't know what to do with, and we got to figure that out. So I always say, don't open any containers that you can't close. Don't open any doors that you can't close. And just know whenever you're doing ritual work, you are opening a door. The spirit world is just like Earth, right? There's good, bad, and ugly. And so the only way to protect yourself from what you don't want to experience is the container that you open. The one thing I want to tell you too, and we're going to go over time tonight. I apologize that I'm a little bit late, but I'm sick and I didn't want to miss you. But do forgive me, please, for beginning late, but we are going to go late. You'll have your full hour. I also want to tell you, just to be absolutely sure, that you always smudge as well. It's really, really important to smudge your space, and figure out what your protocol is going to be. You should come up with your 2 or 3 steps that you always do. And that way you'll have your practice in place, and it won't matter what your teachers do. Do you know what I mean? It won't matter who you're watching or what's going on. One thing you can do, and this is a really good lesson for me to teach you in sabbatical, I invoke, and I've taught you about this before, but a lot of you are new. So I want to make sure that you know this too. I invoke what I call pan protection. Pan protection is a meta layer of protection that is available to you. And what it means is that you are always protected. The reason why some people don't want to invoke pan protection is that it can leave you overprotected, meaning that almost nobody can access your energetic field. Because I invoke pan protection, it's very hard for people to even send me Reiki. I have people all the time reach out to me. So pan means everything in Greek. It just means covers all areas. And so pan protection means protection across all boundaries. If you invoke pan protection from your spirit guides, Just recognize that people will even have a hard time, like I said, giving you Reiki. They will have to ask your permission. I get messages all the time from people saying, I'm trying to send you Reiki because you said you were sick and my guides are telling me it's not allowed. Or I'm trying to send good energy your way and my guides are saying I have to have your permission. The reason that they sense that is because I've invoked Pan protection and they can feel it. So Pan protection is great, except it's like overprotection, and you might find that you aren't even as accessible to people in your day-to-day life. So some people find it's overprotective and they want to have more access to people's energy, if that makes sense. But if you've been feeling underprotected, Pan protection can really help you. Maybe it's better to go too far and be overprotected, and then you can dial it back later. Does that make sense? Just call it in. Just call it in. Spirit guides, I invoke Pan protection. I invoke protection across me and all of my spaces at all times from all four corners and directions. And I receive this Pan protection with gratitude. I will release it when ready. Amen, aho, and so it is. And there you go. Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question, Denise. And I'd be happy to do that for you. And it's kind of nice to come back to basics sometimes, isn't it? Like, part of me is even thinking, wouldn't it be kind of fun? And those of you who are senior and don't need it, maybe you'd be bored, and so you don't have to tune in. But I would love to do a live with you where we just talk about ritual basics, just to refresh that protocol, and then maybe we can keep that content active. You know what I mean? So that anybody who comes into the group can go back and watch that, because even for me, I will tell you, I'm 30 years into my practice. I still find it helpful sometimes when people remind me. So I don't take it personally if somebody says, be sure you're calling to the four directions, or be sure that you've opened your circle with selenite or quartz, or be sure that you have, anointed with your oils, or be sure that you have, set your intention. I always appreciate that reminder, but some people are like, I'm not new to this and you don't have to tell me. So I'm always trying to find the right balance. But I think Lola Bunny's right. We get complacent. It's not that people forget necessarily, but we get excited and we want to jump right in. And then we forget that if we don't do those basics, that's kind of a mistake too. I would like to do a basics for YouTube, because like I said, it sometimes it shocks me what I see on YouTube. And I feel bad for people because I think they're going to have a bad experience potentially and not even know why. Because they've opened a door and it's like, God knows who's walking through it. So, okay, so let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to talk to you for just a few minutes, and then our ritual is going to be probably about 20 minutes, half an hour long, and then we'll close the container together. Let's see. Audrey says, I feel I had invoked Pan protection for a while. Yeah. So, and it comes and goes, right? And so you may think, well, I had Pan protection for a while, I think, but now I kind of feel like I don't have it. So you can renew it. And sometimes if your guides are sensing that you're overprotected, they'll dial it back on your behalf. So what I do is I like to leave my guides to work on my behalf. But the funniest story, I was vending at a gem show in San Francisco. This must have been like 5 years ago, when I was in the Bay Area. Sage Goddess was in the Bay Area for about 3 years. And I was vending at this show. I've told you the story before. This man comes up to me and he starts to talk to me, and he stops. And he said, I can't talk to you. And I said, okay. And he said, I'm literally being blocked. There are guides all around you and they won't let me talk to you. And I said, well, then that's for you to sit with. That's not for me to understand. That's for you. And he walked away. But it's really interesting when you see someone articulate what is experienced when you have nice, solid, tight boundaries. I think it's really, really important. And while you can, Pan protection is protection in the workplace too. It really is. But if you, he wasn't able to talk to me about what he wanted to talk to me about. Does that make sense? He wanted to talk to me about energy or magic or something. And he started to say something, and then he said, I can't talk to you. And I was like, well, that's more between you and your guides than it is between me and mine. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so anyway, I'm just putting that out there for your consideration. Okay, so before we even get into the woo, what is really sad, as with all early shamanic cultures and civilizations, and we see this on every continent across every civilization, is that a lot of originally what we knew about the woo shaman, and the woo shaman, by the way, were women. That's the other big deal about early China. The woo were women. And so I met a woman casually, I mean, in a retail setting here in Los Angeles a couple of years ago. And we were talking about just, how you run into people and you start conversation. And I felt like I had known her forever. And so we ended up talking for over an hour. And then we started getting into a spiritual conversation. And I looked at her, and it was really interesting because you could, some people you can tell just by looking at them that they have a diverse background, right? So I knew that I could tell she was of mixed ethnicity. I didn't know what her background was. And so I asked her, and she said, I'm Mongolian, but my mother's line descends from Siberia. And I said, well, that's very interesting. And she said, she is one of the last of the original shaman. And so she pulled up her phone and started flipping through pictures. Her mother is now in her 80s, and she's still alive in Mongolia. And she was showing me pictures of her mother in her long dress with her big, her big drum, right? Big frame drum, just like mine, right? From 40, 50 years ago, you guys, maybe even longer than that, in full ritual, right? She had this fur headdress, because the Siberian shaman, it was very cold, right? So their wardrobe and their clothing was elaborate and covered in fur, and it was beautiful. It was very different from what you think of as traditional sort of shamanic clothing. And so as she's showing me these pictures of her mother, she starts to cry. I'm going to cry. And she said she's very, very sick now. And she said for a long time she fought it, but she said that the spirits are waiting for her now. So she's not fighting her illness anymore. And it's funny because in the last couple of weeks, she's been coming to me in dream time. And I think it's because I was getting ready to teach this tonight. And I've been wondering about her mother. Part of me doesn't want to reach out to her and ask, because part of me doesn't want to know if her mother, not yet, if her mother has crossed. But I have this feeling that that's what has happened. I can have her visit you. And in fact, she would really love that. And so I will reach out to her, maybe do an interview with her like I did with my dad, because her stories of her mother are just absolutely amazing. And what's really beautiful is, even though she's in Mongolia, she has some of her mother's jewelry, and she sat and would, touch her bracelet and tell me the story. And it was really sweet, because at the end of our conversation, she looked at me and she said, you remind me of my mother. My mother would say, take this shungite and use it for this, or take this tourmaline and use it for this, or as we were talking about crystal healing. So let me, she's been on my mind and my heart anyway. She's beautiful, and you will love her. So let me see if I can get her to come live with me, because we talked a little bit about maybe having her share when I spent time with her. And she's very open, and she's very loving, and very, she has a natural sort of charisma. She would fall right in with our group, and you would adore her. So let me see if I can do that. Honestly, you can feel her mother's energy through her eyes. That's what drew me to her in the first place. And then when she was flipping through her phone and showing me these pictures of her mother in these woo shaman dresses, it took my breath away. So I want to say, because time is not linear, I want to send healing blessings to Tingle's mother tonight. Wherever you are, we are doing our best tonight to do justice to your line and to represent the magnitude and the beauty of feminine power, and how it has been anchored in Siberia, in China, in Mongolia, for all of this time. And we recognize that so much of the power that we as women enjoy today has its roots in the far north, and that the spirits who landed in China and Tibet are indeed priests and priestesses from Lemuria and Atlantis who fled early. This is what I have been told, who fled early. They didn't wait until Lemuria was destroyed. What I understand is there was a group of priests and priestesses who fled to Tibet, what is now Tibet, China, Mongolia, and they were the original what's known as the Great White Brotherhood, the 13. And there were men and women who fled and who scattered and who anchored their magic in Tibet and in China and in Mongolia. And so what's really beautiful is this woman who appeared to me almost out of nowhere, right? We were not talking about magic, and I was in a, like I said, it was a retail setting. I wasn't looking for that. To have been able to meet someone who has a lineage there was like bringing all of this to life. So they were, what I understand is those who fled to Egypt and then north to Tibet, China, Mongolia, they knew it was coming and they left early. And part of the reason they left early is they took the records with them. They took the tablets, they took the written documents, they took some of the artwork so that it would not be destroyed. And those tablets, or so they say, are still hidden in caves and in different different parts of Tibet, Mongolia, and China. So Lemuria lives on, and I believe that the Wu shaman are in fact Lemurian high priestesses who migrated north and were able to anchor their magic in a new tradition once they recognized that their civilization was dying. The Chinese mandarins destroyed almost every shrine of the Wu shaman, and so there's very little left of them in terms of material proof of them. Their shrines are gone, their sacred spaces are gone, destroyed, much like all magic has been by civilizations that came afterward and were in fact threatened. The ecstatic magic of the Wu shaman was seen as demonic and extremely dangerous and threatened the stability of government, and that's why all of the Wu shrines were destroyed. When we talk about a shaman, there are some defining characteristics, and I really do want to say this about these topics so that you understand and have a basis for understanding. Across all tradition, shaman are considered to be they incarnate as normal human beings, but at some point they have an initiatory experience, and so each shaman's initiation is different. But there are some common threads. And so I believe mine, by the way, was when I lost my vision after I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. A shamanic initiation strips you of one of your senses, one of your 5 basic senses. You either lose your sight, you lose your ability to taste, you lose your hearing. It usually strips you of one of your human senses. And then what happens is they replace your sense with a heightened sense. So they took my vision for 6 months. I couldn't see, I couldn't drive, I was legally blind. But they replaced it with clairvoyance. And so not only can I see, my vision's 20/20 today, but I can also see spirits, I can see symbols, I can see lots of things I couldn't see before I lost my vision. And that is the traditional story of what happens through a shamanic initiation. Almost no one asks to become a shaman because the initiation is so awful, it usually almost kills you. And so there's very few people who raise their hand and go, hey, I'd like to be a shaman. It always makes me really nervous when I see people asking to be initiated, because the initiation requires that you go through some sort of transfiguration. And it usually requires the loss of a sense, and it usually requires a complete transformation of your physical appearance. And so it's very scary to be able to imagine what that experience is like if you don't know. What else do I want to tell you? Okay, so shaman help us access what they refer to as, or we refer to as, primal power. This is a primordial power that is not based in the material world. So this isn't power over anyone. The shaman doesn't want to control you. Near-death experiences can also be initiatory. But like I said, shamanic initiation almost always necessitates the loss of a sense so that they can replace that sense. It's almost like giving you a super sense, if you will. And I do have friends who say that you can seek to become a shaman, but you have to recognize that that's a heavy request that you're making. You just shouldn't make that request lightly. Is my only point to you. There are lots of ways to access that primordial power. And so you can do it through the drum, right? So shaman use drum mostly to help mirror the human heartbeat. The human heartbeat is the easiest way to drop into trance. When you were in utero, your mother's heartbeat was the first sound that you ever heard. And it's what kept you able to develop and grow in utero was the constant refrain of your mother's heartbeat. Your own heartbeat will be the last sound you hear before you die. So the heartbeat is the in and the out of the human experience. You're not even really considered alive, right? I mean, I remember the first time we saw my children's heartbeat on the monitor, it's like the doctor said, well, there we go. Not that the baby isn't alive and growing, but the heartbeat somehow represents something, right? I still felt like my children were there before I saw the little blinking light, but doctors get all excited because, there's proof now that the baby is alive or viable or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it can be like imbalanced vertigo, right? Like sort of throwing you off your center. It also can show up as just becoming very, very ill. Some people just get very, very sick during their initiation, and they don't even realize they're losing a sense because they're just so sick. So maybe they lose their hearing, but they're also just so ill that they can't tell that they've lost a sight and gotten it back. Thank you, Sue. I actually have a fever, so and it's like 85 degrees in the room right now, so I can't put on a shawl, but I really appreciate it. Okay. There are 3 stages. I may have to turn on the air in here in just a minute, actually, because it's so warm in here that I'm struggling a little bit. There are 3 stages to shamanic work. There's the initiation, okay, which can be spontaneous. For most people, it ends up being a year-long process. Like I said, I lost vision in my left eye and then regained it 3 months later, and then I lost vision in my right eye and then regained it 3 months later. So I was legally blind for 6 months. It usually is like a 6-month to a 1-year process. And then there's education. So the shaman gets initiated, whether the shaman realizes it or not. Then there's education, where shamans sort of come out of the woodwork to begin teaching you. I'm surrounded by shaman, none of whom I have sought out. Oh, bless you, Jackie.
I heard your calling.
Jackie's here to turn on the air conditioning for me so I can breathe. I know. Thank you. I feel like a hormonal old lady. I'm gonna get really comfortable here in a minute. Bless you, bless you. Okay, so let me say this because this is really, really important. So you get initiated, however that happens, and it can be at any age. I have had friends who've been shamanically initiated at 50. I've have friends who've been shamanically initiated at 60, right? I've had friends who've been shamanically initiated at 18. 15, 12. I mean, it happened at very early ages. One of my friends lost her hearing when she was a child and got her hearing back. So you get initiated. What happens at that point is that they start to send shaman to surround you. I probably have 30 shaman in my life. I don't think I sought out any of them. Literally, they all started to show up, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm surrounded in a shamanic community that created itself around me. And that usually happens too. All of those people are here to be your teachers. And I will tell you, the shaman that are in my life are so different. And if I line them up, and if they're all standing behind me, you'd probably say a third of them look like shaman, like, I don't know, shaman on TV. And the rest of them kind of don't look like shaman. They're all powerhouse people who have similarly been initiated and had teachers surround them and gather around them to teach them. And what traditionally happens is the initiate doesn't know what they need to learn. And so the shaman gather around them and just start to share wisdom and start to share information. And the initiate's wisdom becomes complete. It's built around them, okay? And then what happens in the final stage is the integration. So, and I'm not there yet. I mean, I'm still in the education phase. I'm surrounded by shaman. I just had a new one fall into my circle, honestly, 2 weeks ago. And it's amazing. I mean, she's an incredible healer and an incredible teacher. And she found me and I'm in love with her. I mean, she's so helpful, and she's now part of my tribe. And so they continue to sort of gather around me. So I'm still in the education phase. And none of these phases they're all iterative, right? So it's not like you go from initiation to education to integration. Integration is usually the last phase when you know that you're sort of, your education is complete. My education is still unfolding. And I know every time a new shaman shows up, I'm like, okay, I'm still learning. There's some piece of this puzzle that hasn't revealed itself to me yet. And so maybe she is here to show me whatever that new piece is. And in fact, she came in with a new vocabulary. She came in with some new words. She came in with a new perspective. And it was like, okay, here you are. You're holding some some edge of that. Okay. The Siberian Wu shaman, and it's interesting because my friend talked about this too. They talk about riding the horse. And they usually carry some sort of wooden staff, and they consider themselves riding it into these other dimensions. And so even in their language and the way they use their tools and the way they talk about animal spirits, well, and I think so too. Ellie's saying, can you teach them as well? I mean, I think, and Sue, by the way, we are part of that. I am part of that. I mean, I am one who probably showed up in your life for reasons that maybe you don't know. So I assume that I'm part of that tribe around you. And there are women in this group who are shaman too. They may not even recognize it yet. And they may be going through their own initiation, education, and integration phases. So, you know, before you look around and you go, where are my teachers? Recognize they don't all show up in person. They don't all knock on your door and go, hi, I'm a shaman. Can I teach you something? You know, they don't show up that way, and they may not look like a shaman, and they may not dress like a shaman, and they may not even use shamanic vocabulary. They may not even know they are a shaman. That may not be a word in their vocabulary. But I bet if you push harder, you figure out they were initiated, they have a tribe educating them, and they're integrating that wisdom. And those are the three primary criteria that I use and that most people use to discern, is someone a shaman or not a shaman? Abstract dragonfly, it's really interesting. Well, and I always tell people, you shouldn't have one teacher. You know, I am not one of those people who says, I should be it and you shouldn't listen to anybody else. You should have a group of teachers who teach you, but you need to recognize that your peers are teaching you, and that people you may not even see as teachers are teaching you. But I call for inclusiveness. And what I like is, especially when maybe something I teach you complements something you learn somewhere else, but also if it contrasts with something that you learn somewhere else, that's an invitation for you to look and say, you know what I mean? Like, I'm learning this here and I'm learning this other thing here. And, you know, how does that work together? That's right. Most shaman, I will tell you, because how often do you hear me say the word shaman? I don't advertise myself as a shaman. I don't even talk about shamanism. It's almost like Fight Club, right? Like, one of the first rules of shamanism is you don't talk really about shamanism. And part of it is the word shamanism gets abused. And I think that it also scares people a little bit. So some people don't even use the word because they're reverent, which is why I don't use it. I think if you call yourself a shaman, it almost becomes weird. You very rarely see someone that has a little name badge that says, hi, I'm a shaman. I'm a shaman now, ask me how, kind of thing. Nobody does that. Okay, so divination through dance. We're going to divine through dance tonight. And what I have set the intention for, and that's why I want you to think about your intention now. What do you want to learn as we move through these 3 levels tonight? We're about to start our ritual now. What do you want to learn? And by the way, Team SG, we're going over. I don't want you to feel like you guys have to stay late with me, so please feel free to go home and let me and the Sabbatical girls party it up over here. What do you want to learn? In the lower realm, and this is really important, so listen to me right now. Don't take notes. Don't chat in the feed. Really listen to what I'm telling you, because you got to anchor your intention right now. In the lower realm, we have what one of my shaman teachers calls the creepy crawlies, right? Like, that's where you have a lot of your sort of subterranean magic. The lower realm also includes all the undersea creatures like octopus and squid. All of the finned creatures are lower realm creatures, right? And so I love you guys so much. I really do love my team, by the way. And so in the lower realm, that is where the crystalline matrix of the entire planet is. You know that all of your crystals within the earth are formed along vortices and ley lines, right? And so they create what I call the crystalline grid. I'm actually getting ready to record an audio crystalline grid matrix activation for you guys. And so that's going to be an exciting little bonus for you. A little gift, because I channeled it this weekend. But Anyway, when you're working with the lower realm, you're working with all of the creatures who live within the earth, as well as the earth zone crystalline matrix. This is a very powerful place to activate your crystals, to work with crystals, to gain their wisdom, and to plug into the broader energetic matrix of the planet. What you can gain, okay, from the lower realm. Oh, isn't that? I mean, Jessica, I just read your comment in out of the corner of my eye. She lost her fish today, so tonight would be a really good time for you to work through healing, because the finned ones live in the lower realm, and so maybe you can work through some of the grief and loss. Having lost many fish in my life, I can tell you that I've had very deep sentient relationships with some of the finned ones in my life, and so we're just holding you tonight, and so maybe some healing can be found for you in that lower realm. When we get to the lower realm, by the way, for us, like I said, is we're working with dragon, because the Chinese believe, the Wu shaman believe, that the dragons live within the earth and that they are a source of deep protection, wisdom, and transformation. And then when we get to Middle Earth, right, this is the realm of the humans. This is the waking state consciousness, but this is also the collective and the personal subconscious and unconscious. So what you can do in the middle realm when we work with snake medicine and rattle that up tonight is, what do you need to know that you can't see right now in your own life? Sort of like, what's hiding just behind you? What's just outside of your peripheral vision? What needs to become clearer to you? It might be sitting right in front of you, but you can't see it. That's what we journey into the middle realm to see, to get greater clarity about where we are today. And then in the upper realm, where we're going to work with bird medicine, this is sky medicine, and this is spirit medicine. And so this is about connecting to ancestors in the light, who have crossed. This is about accessing the Akashic records. This is about accessing spirit guides and ascended masters. This is upper realm magic. And so here I want you to think about transcendence and spiritual transformation. What do you need to, what are you calling in tonight from that upper realm? Where do you need the support of spirit guides? And for some of you, yeah, pill bottle, by the way, works great. Pill bottle is your automatic rattle. Altoids, shake your Altoids. It was so cute the other night when I asked everybody to bring a rattle, and people had all their vitamins and their Altoids and everything, Tic Tacs. I can't guarantee your Tic Tacs are going to look really good after you sit and shake the box for an hour, but if you're not going to eat them, then you don't care, and it's a perfect rattle. Always see you, Jessica. My favorite fish, by the way, is buried in my backyard, and I have a little frog planter, and it has a succulent growing in it. And I named my puffer Shungite, and he passed away last year, and so he lives under Mr. Frog and the succulent plants in my garden. Rain sticks are fantastic for you to use. Anything that feels good to you. I just want you to use a tool that resonates with you. So don't, just use your intuition and go with your first instinct. And so I want you to really set an intention now. Lower realm, what are you looking for? Is it grounding, protection? Is it greater ability to feel and make contact with your crystals? Is it protection? What is it that you're looking from the lower realm? Do you want to feel more stable? If you're experiencing vertigo and dizziness, that's a sign that you're too much in the upper realm and need to anchor yourself in the lower realm. So, and I want you to maybe think about using a crystal as we go into the lower realm tonight, just to sort of really connect to that crystalline matrix, because the crystals recognize each other. And so it'll be easier for you to access that way. In the middle realm, it's about what you need to know that you can't see right now. So where do you need clarity in that middle realm? And that's where we're going to be working with snake medicine. Snake medicine in the Amazon is activated for the same purposes. By the way, it's about being present to where you are now, but with new vision and the ability to shed old skin so that you can come to the present life with a new perspective, if that makes sense for you. Thank you, Jessica. I really loved him. My husband gave me a hard time about it, and I was like, no, you don't understand. That little pufferfish knew me, and I knew him too. And then, like I said, in the upper realm, it's about source. It's about your spiritual growth, your relationship to God, creator, source, goddess, however you imagine the one who breathed life into you. And maybe you need inspiration. Inspiration comes from the upper realm, so that's a really good intention for you to set there as well. We're working with Spirit Dance Perfume. And just want to remind you of the notes in your Spirit Dance perfume. Make sure I give them to you accurately. Pine, mandarin, and osmanthus. It's all pure. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been anointing with it all day. There's something about, I think it's the combination really of the pine and the mandarin, which we'd never done that combination of perfume and SG, which kind of blows my mind. 500 perfumes later, you would think that we had done every possible combination of everything at this point, and we sure haven't. So this was a new one. Woo. I'm alternating between kombucha and tea, so bear with me. Pine or any of the tree EOs is going to be your best bet for tonight because that's authentic to the woo. They worked with a lot of the fir, the pine, the northern tree oils and resins. And so if you want to stay true to the medicine, to the space, to the lineage, I would work with one of the tree oils. Okay, I'm going to briefly read to you, and then I'm going to begin our ritual. So just close your eyes, relax, call your energy into present time. So this is the invocation of the woo. Tonight I dance with the spirit creatures of the three realms. I begin as a crow with 3 legs, and then I am a fox with 9 tails. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to imagine breaking all of the molds and preconceptions about what animals look like. I want you to imagine tonight animals with 4 heads and 9 tails and 3 fins, impossible creatures, fantastical creatures, because to the woo shaman, when they reach these fantastical realms, nothing is as it seems and anything is possible. Tonight I am a frog dancing in trance, and I am a rabbit who brews and drinks the elixir of life and creation. I am the yin and I am the yang. I am the queen mother of the West, the oldest, wisest one, and I am the keeper of immortality, the creator and the destroyer, united in one form. I am the woo shaman, and tonight I gather my tribe. Amen, aho, and so it is. Amen, aho, and so it is. Okay, so we are going to begin. Are you ready? Woo. Now we are going to begin with earth, and we're going to end with earth. And so typically, this is what we do in traditional rituals. We enter at the level, we enter any realm in shamanic work at the level of where we are right now. So I'm going to begin with snake, which is our earth candle for tonight. I'm losing fire, so bear with me. Lighting our snake candle. Calling in snake medicine. Whew. And your snake crystal is your petrified wood. So feel free to hold that. We'll charge it at the end of the ritual, so you don't need it right this minute. And close your eyes. Call your energy into present time. Opening the sacred container for our work tonight. Invoking, calling upon the guardians of the 4 directions, beginning in the east. Guardians of the Eastern Gateway, we invite you to our sacred space tonight. We are so ready for this new beginning. Whew. We're going to shed some old skin tonight. We are ready to release everything from the first half of this year. Old patterns, old beliefs, old skin that's too tight for us to wear anymore. Guardians of the East, we ask that you protect us, keep us safe in this sacred container. As we enter the lower, middle, and upper realms, we welcome you to the circle this evening. And Guardians of the South, we ask for your courage, your strength, your stamina, your protection, your playfulness. Help us not to take this so seriously. Magic is not to be underestimated, but we also can't take it too seriously. We have to allow ourselves to be taken. Letting go of preconceptions, judgments, expectations, letting Spirit speak to us and through us. And we welcome you into the circle tonight. Guardians of the West, we ask for clearing, surrender. We ask to be allowed to cry our tears and shed and release and give back to the mother what we can't carry anymore. We send west on your waters all of our hesitations, our fears, our anxieties, for we know this is not the time to be afraid. Warriors stand tall and strong and ready. And we welcome you into the circle tonight. Guardians of the Northern Gateway. Wise ancestors. Shamanic teachers who come to us from all directions with wisdom to share. We welcome you into our circle tonight. We honor and recognize our own ancestors, and tonight we also honor and recognize our own wisdom. We are the wise ones as we step forward into our lineage, into our legacy. But let us never forget, magic happens through us, but not because of us. Let us always pay homage to the Great Spirit, God, Goddess, Source, Creator, who works through us. At our best, we are nothing more than open channel, a hollowed bone. And Guardians of the North, we welcome you to our circle this evening. And with that, the Guardians are present, and our circle is open. Aho. And so it is. And so I want you to imagine before you stands the great tree of time, tree of wisdom, tree of life. They're all the same. Every tradition has the great tree whose roots spread deep into the earth and whose branches spread high to the sky. And this is the tree of all knowledge. In some traditions, it's considered off limits, only accessible to the wise. And tonight, you're invited to enter that tree of life, that tree of wisdom, that tree of power, that tree of all knowledge. I want you to find a place in that tree, a little doorway. Maybe it's at the trunk of the tree. Maybe there's an old knot in the bark that's inviting you and calling you forward. Step forward toward that entry point. Find your way into the tree tonight. Snake, we call upon you as our helping spirit to provide us access to this middle realm. We begin here at the level of earth. Snake medicine to light the way, to guide the way. And Snake, help to guide us without fear. You are one who can enter tight spaces. You are one who can slither and flow. You are one who can shed her skin if it becomes too tight. You teach us that we can shapeshift from where we are today to almost any other form. And how would a snake move? How does a snake move? I want you to get up and start to move your body. I want you to slither a little bit with me. Stay with your breath. And what medicine are you calling in? What medicine of transformation? What medicine of becoming? What medicine of liberation? Where has your skin become too tight? Where do you need to shed? What have you outgrown? What doesn't fit you anymore? Is it a belief about yourself? Is it the name you call yourself? Woo! Spirit helper, snake teacher, show us tonight how to shed our skin. Show us tonight how to let go of all that shit that's too tight. It doesn't feel good anymore. Show us how to move in tight spaces. We think we don't have room. Show us that we always have room to move. We always have room to become. We always have room to grow. We always have room to expand. Show us, teach us, move us, transform us from the inside. We give you permission tonight. It's okay if we look different. It's okay if we speak differently. It's okay if we choose a different name. It's okay if we move. It's okay if we take up space. It's okay if we cry. It's okay if we scream. It's okay if we yell. It's okay if we're quiet. And I want you to move it. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to yell, yell. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to lay down, lay down. If you need to slither on that floor, I want you to slither on that floor. Get it out. Let snake take it. And it's okay to take that skin, that old skin that you've been dragging around for decades. It's okay to take that skin, rip it off, and lay it on the ground next to you. Keep moving. That's what snake does. And if you got to move outside, if you got to take up your space, this is your time. And you got to dance like nobody's watching you, girl. Because who cares? This is your soul that needs to just release. Maybe you've never had this release before. Claim it. And we give thanks. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for the snake medicine tonight. What will your transformation look like? Is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Is it mental? Is it everything? We're getting ready for it now. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And so it is. Woo! You may well be 5 pounds lighter, depending on how fast and heavy you shook it just there. You may have shed a lot more than you thought you did. Aho. Aho. We give thanks to the snake teachers who helped us slither into that beautiful moment together. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. Your transformation is at hand. It is unfolding even now. Aho. Aho. Wasn't that good? Ooh, and we just got started. We're not going to let the energy dissipate. Dragon. We now enter the lower realm. I'm setting the intention that my little lighter is going to let me light that real quick. Okay. Dragon. Dragon. Snake has brought us to your door. Dragon. Dragon's no stranger to me. I live in the lower realm. So if this is not a place you've been before, you should get very excited right about now. So we blew out snake, we've lit dragon. And now we're going into the dragon's lair. Dragon. Fire breather. Of the lower realm, the fire within. Dragon, we seek you, we summon you tonight for protection. fire. Can you feel your Kundalini kind of rising a little bit? If I can get my Kundalini up, you should be able to get your Kundalini up too right now. Woo! Okay, are you ready? Dragon, we thank you for your medicine tonight. Thank you for your fire, for your protection, for your courage, for your strength, for breathing that fire into every one of our energy centers, awakening our divine sexuality, our power, our passion. This is the season of growth. These are my sisters. We need your power. We need your strength. We need your healing. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. May snake medicine, may dragon magic be with you. Woo! That's some good stuff right there. And now we're going to stay right here. Don't lose your magic. Don't lose your momentum, because we're going to go right from the lower realm I want you to feel as the crystal bowl, the sound of the crystal bowl pulls you from the center of the earth, where a dragon has taken you into his lair, up through the layers of soil and rock and time, back to that sacred tree of life, tree of knowledge, tree of wisdom, where you entered the earth. And now we're going to surrender to the bird spirits, who are going to take us to the upper realm. And so, bird spirit, we call upon you tonight to help us take flight. We have grounded our energy tonight. We have rooted our energy deep into the earth. We have invoked the element of fire to rise within us and to channel our passion and to channel our courage and to channel our strength. And so now we call upon bird medicine. Bird spirit. I'm going to silence the rattle for just a moment while I speak to you of bird energy. And we ask that the essence of the bird spirit lift us on its wings tonight. We are ready to fly. We are ready to experience this expanse of our wingspan tonight. And we ask ourselves tonight, what would fearlessness look like? What would authenticity look like if we were to show up in life as our full, beautiful selves, with no apologies, with no exceptions, with no conditions? Imagine if we really believed that we could be loved and accepted and nourished, appreciated just as we are today. And that means seeing yourself as beautiful, as effortless, seeing yourself as flowing on the winds with ease, seeing yourself as weightless, seeing all of your movements as guided, and not resisting the flow of energy in life, but instead making a conscious choice tonight to be with it. Great Spirit wants everything that's in your life right now to be with you. And every moment you're living answered prayers, Wherever you are right now was once a wish in your heart. If you have a different wish for your life today, I want you to close your eyes and wish it now. What do you wish? Bird spirit, I want you to see the wishes in my sister's hearts tonight. And I want you to come and gather those wishes like tiny eggs that you will take and carry to your nest and incubate and love and gestate for us until those eggs of our wishes hatch and everything that we desire comes to pass. Bird spirit, teach us to fly high, teach us to fly well, teach us to fly together. Teach us to soar when the things of this world become too heavy for us. Teach us to be easy. Teach us to not resist. Teach us to just let it be. Teach us to be kind to ourselves. Teach us to let that shit go. Teach us the beauty of sunrise and how every day is a new beginning. Why does the sun rise? Why does the sun set? We know it's bird medicine. These are the beginnings. These are the endings. These are the beginnings. These are the endings. It's all a cycle. But do you live the cycle? Do you see every morning as a rebirth? The birds do. Can you fly? What's holding you down? Tonight, let snake take what's holding you down and let snake shed it like old skin. What's scaring you? What are you afraid of? Give it to dragon. Let dragon burn it. Let dragon reduce it to ash tonight. I feel so compelled to tell you, my sisters, right now as I drop into my own sweet trance, you need to commit to letting go of every single experience, energy stream, emotion that isn't serving you anymore. And guardians of this sacred work tonight, if she's done with it, let her shed it tonight. Let her burn it. Let her leave it behind. Let her fly away from it tonight. If she's done with it, let it be. Let's release. Let's surrender. Let's fly away from those old patterns, from that sorrow. It's not yours to carry anymore. Let's fly away. I'm so ready to fly away from it. I know you are too. Let's let it go. Woo! And let's let go with all the shit we're flying away from tonight. Let's let go too of whatever disease that might be carrying. Let's let go of that, even if it's in your line. Let's let go of old disease patterns in your mother's line, in your father's line. Let's fly away from all that. Let's fly away from abuse patterns in the mother line and the father line. Let's give that to dragon to burn, and let's fly away from all of that. Let's fly away from old beliefs about what you're worth. Let's give that to dragon to burn, and let's fly away from that tonight. Let's fly away from your negative thought patterns, your negative inner dialogue, inner monologue, all the things you tell yourself about who you are and what you're worth and what you're supposed to be doing and who you're meant to be. Let's fly away from all that tonight. And if you're done with it, let's give it to dragon to burn. Woo! And let's fly away. Let's fly away from all of that tonight. Woo! What are you flying away from? What are you flying away from? And I want you to, as you fly away, I want you to look back down on what you're leaving behind. And I want you to feel your wingspan. I want you to feel yourself flying high above all those things. If you've had something really bother you, maybe for a long time, fly away from it and then look back at it and see yourself flying away from it. You're letting it go now. That experience, that person, that relationship, that conversation, that trauma, just fly. And great spirit, see my sisters and me as we soar tonight, high above everything we're ready to leave behind. We're so grateful just to be in this beautiful trance dance together as we completely surrender and feel our wingspan step into our power. Let that shit go. We're easy now. We're flying high above. And we are owning our space. We're taking up that space tonight, but it's effortless, it's easy, it's flowing out of you. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. It's now. You are here. There are no accidents. This is intended for you, and your freedom is at hand. Feel your wings. The element of air can clear everything. It's the most clearing element you can work with because it moves the air, clears the air. You can breathe, you can think, you can process, you can release, you can surrender, you can grow, you can expand. Air gives you all of that space to do it. Are you flying? Fly, 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 fly. Oof. Get those wings out behind you. Stretch your arms. It should hurt a little bit. I really want you to stretch your arms behind you and feel your wingspan. Stretch, stretch, stretch your arms behind you. To the great bird spirits. Thank you for letting us fly away tonight on wings of love, on wings of wisdom and freedom and liberation, wings of trust, and each other's wings too. As I felt like as I was flying, I felt all of you with me. It's like we're flying in one huge constellation of wings together. Could you feel us all flying together? I could feel you. I could feel you next to me. I don't want to cry. It was like I could feel Sue and I could feel Pam and I could feel Shannon. And I could feel Megan. I could feel all of you and Brittany as we were flying. I could feel all of you. And Cindy and Karen and Dot. I feel you. Feels good to use your wings, doesn't it? They were given to you for a reason. If you don't think you have wings, let me promise you, you do. Aho, thank you for this beautiful bird medicine. However you envisioned it, peacock medicine, dove medicine, eagle medicine, whatever bird wings you use tonight, you spread them beautifully, and I feel honored I got to fly with you tonight. So beautiful. To your liberation, sisters. And we give thanks for that beautiful bird medicine. Hummingbird, crow medicine, hawk medicine. Oh yeah, blue jay medicine, raven medicine. Yes. Woo. To get here took a lot for you. It took a lot for you to get here. For you to be able to let go what you just let go of may have taken you decades. I'm so proud of you. I can feel what you burned and buried and released and blew away. I can feel what you just let go of. And watch, your body will follow. I promise you, when you release like this and you surrender and you transform and you shed that skin, all of a sudden it manifests in the body as better health, as a stronger physical you, as less pain and discomfort. All of a sudden that sciatic pain goes away. All of a sudden that digestive problem goes away. Pain in your body is anchored trauma. And so if you can let that shit go tonight If you just did that, I promise you there is going to be some somatic, physical manifestation of that. I don't know what it is yet for you, but this is where the idea of spontaneous quantum healing comes from. It is the physical manifestation, right? And you can do this every day. Every day. There's no reason. Don't lose your courage just because I'm not there dancing with you every day, although maybe I'll go live and do it. But get up every morning and just start releasing. Enter at Middle Earth. Start singing the snake's song and just call upon snakes to slither close to you and to transform while you shed, right? And then start to drum or work with your dragon tool to bury, to burrow, to release, to burn, and then call upon birds to lift you and spread your wings. This is one you can do all the time. And whatever dancing looks like for you. If I had more room and I wasn't just in front of a computer, I would have completely busted loose. Turn on some music. You know what I mean? It'd be really fun for you to go live in Sab or record a little video for us and show us your little, show us your moves. It would make us all brave, right? Then maybe I can record my own little go crazy session and we can all share that with each other. Aho. And so, as we use that bird medicine to bring ourselves gently back into present time, coming down from those higher realms, down into our bodies, into present time, just giving thanks and gratitude for you, for each other. I'm truly grateful to be in your presence, to be able to do this work with you. I am grateful to the history and the traditions that brought us here, to the origins of a shamanic practice that continues to heal, bless, and transform us even today. Bowing to the Wu Shaman in whose footsteps we followed tonight. We honor you. We honor the sacred path. We honor the sacrifices that you made. We wish to keep your traditions and your wisdom and your magic alive. Amen, aho, and so it is. And guardians of the north, guardians of the north, thank you for your guidance, your support, your wisdom, your faithfulness, your steadiness. And we know that you're always with us. We're thankful that you attended us in ceremony tonight. We release you with so much gratitude and love from our circle this evening. And guardians of the West, the mothers and grandmothers, the Wu Shaman, the female line of power. For those of you who had to hide who you were, what you knew, and what you did, we, your ancestors, stand strong. We honor your ways. We keep the traditions alive. We believe in your magic, and we embody your truth. And we thank you for being with us, so present to us in our circle tonight. We release you. Guardians of the South, fire energy, dragon energy, that blood coursing within our veins, that life force, that kundalini rising, our sexual passion and desire, that aliveness that we feel this summer season, growth season ahead. Thank you for helping us channel that strength, that courage, and keeping it alive. And not just for us, but for everyone in our line, our descendants, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, and nieces and nephews who will one day know our names, speak our names. We release you from your service to the circle tonight. Guardians of the East, we began with you, we end with you. Thank you for this breath of life, this new beginning, this new doorway into our magic. Help us to stay in gratitude for what we know, to constantly engage the beginner's mind, to not lose our faith, our innocence, our desire to learn, to grow, to understand. Help us to avoid judgment of ourselves and each other, recognizing that we're all still learning, we're all still growing. If we were done, we would cross. So help us to engage that new beginning every day, that sunrise, the chance to start over and begin again. We release you with gratitude from your service to the circle tonight. Releasing the guardians, the guides, the ancestor spirits, ascended masters, angels, archangels, beings of light. Whew. And with that, our circle is complete. Aho. Aho. How sweet. Thank you for your comments. It was a pleasure and an honor to do this work with you tonight. Truly, truly, truly. I feel your beauty. Not only do I see you, I feel your beauty. It is immense. It is around me. It feels like, I don't even know how to describe it to you. And I know we're so over time, and I try to be respectful of your time and stay within the time boundaries. So again, thank you, because we started late, we ended late, but I really wanted to. I didn't want to cut this short. This is an important one. And even if you have to come back to it some other time, that's okay. Do it. Do it and give yourself that freedom and that latitude. I love you so much. I see you. And truly, whatever your words to me are so kind. And I want to tell you, whatever beauty or truth or wisdom you see in me is just a reflection of you. I am just a reflection of what you are. So thank you for seeing me, and just know that whatever you see in me is a reflection of you. You're evolving, you're transforming, you're becoming. And I like I said, not only do I feel your beauty or see your beauty, I feel your beauty. I feel the immense beauty of your spirit surrounding me. And it is an honor to walk this path with every single one of you. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I feel better. I don't sound better, but I sure do feel better. It's so good. And here's what you have to know. This is hope. This is hope. This is possibility. As long as we have this, as long as we have our faith, as long as we have our ability to express magic, as long as we have our ability to tap into this wider consciousness, hope abounds. So no matter where you are in your life or what's going on, I want you to just remember this moment. Hope lives and rests right here. And my hope, honestly, lives and rests in you. Because when I see what's possible in you, it mirrors back to me maybe what's possible for me too. So you inspire me in every single way. Yes, Eileen, I don't think your pills are ever going to be the same, but they were well exercised tonight, and they really appreciate that. Nicole, how sweet. I saw your comment. And please tell your little one thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And please tell him how beautiful his mama is to me, because I see your beauty too. Oh, it's so good. All right. Well, we got to shake it tonight. We got to do some good healing tonight, which I think is really good. I want to tell you a little bit about next month before I let you go. Next month, we enter Persia. Persia is one of the most magical of all of the countries and realms that we have studied yet in terms of magic. It's some of the oldest. And did you know that the concept of the guardian angel originated in Persia? So our ritual next month, and your tools are in the shop. I know you've already seen them. We are, by the way, because you guys went crazy for the wood art and invocation, we are trying to make more of these. We didn't know if you would like them. So then when everybody was like, oh my God, I want the wood, because these are printed on wood, we put more of those in stock. So just so you know, next month's ritual is going to be you meeting your personal guardian angel. That's what we're going to be doing in Persia. It's a traditional Persian ritual to meet your personal guardian angel. And I want to tell you, if you're in of light and shadow, next month's ritual is going to help you. We're going to set an intention, if you want, to meet a shadow guardian who will be a guardian spirit or angel for you and with you through your shadow work this fall and winter. So if you're in of light and shadow, it's special ritual for anybody who needs a guardian angel. But because a lot of you are in of light and shadow, it was my intention to connect the two that way. So you can set an intention to meet a shadow guardian who will escort you through the shadow work. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, because in Persia, they believed that you had a primary guardian angel, but you could also work with specific guardian angels for specific work at specific times in your life. And so a lot of you have been asking about shadow guides and, guides for that work. And so the timing of it is pretty unbelievable, really, when you think about it. I think it's all kind of predetermined in a certain way. But that's what we're going to be doing together. Isn't that awesome? I know, a shadow guardian. I think it'll be really good for all of you to be able to feel like you've connected with a specific energy to protect you and hold you as we move through that work together. So there's always a new rabbit hole, Brittany. What can I say? All right, my sweet loves, truly. I don't know if there's words to describe what a pleasure this was to be with you tonight, but it was beyond what I even thought it would be. And I thought it would be pretty special. So cheers to you. Cheers to us. Cheers to divine synchronicity. Cheers to Jessica. Are you feeling better, by the way? Jessica was working through a little grief over the loss of a finned one. And so I'm hoping that this touched your heart tonight, Jessica, and that you're feeling better. And that all of you who needed this work tonight, I hope it hit the spot. I hope it really just dialed right into that place that needed this work and this liberation and this freedom, because you deserve it and it is your time. Cheers to you. Aho. All right. Love you. I'll see you very soon. We have so much more coming. I will see you tomorrow. I'm seeing you live for something every day this week. Of course, we have full moon on Thursday. Please don't miss that. It's my intention to be 100% by full moon. So I will very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow and then again on Thursday. Love you too. All right. Cheers. Go have some kombucha and some tea. Mwah. I'll see you soon. Oh, and don't forget, if you do get the Persia tools, don't forget to use your code. It is on the main sagegoddess.com page, but I just don't want you to forget it because we still have 18% off for you. Love you. See you soon.